capital city of Richmond, Virginia, but heard all across the World Wide Web. Hello to those that are on the phone lines, those that are coming on in from all of our broadcast stations. Hey, Facebook Live. Hey, Periscope Live. Hey, YouTube Live. Hey, those from a mobile app and an Alexa device. We are so excited to have you joining us here today. Listen, it's going to be an amazing show today. I'm telling you, the energy in the virtual studio is already through the roof. I am so honored to have hanging out with us. I'm going to introduce her right now, Tonya Sloans, Esquire. She is an advocate for women in the marketplace, and she teaches women how to be power performers, whether you are an employee or an entrepreneur, and she does this through her company, Power Women Enterprise. She has more than 17 years of career success in the Washington, D.C. halls of power, and listen, she has lived out the very formula she shares with women nationwide. She is known as the Career Maximization Strategist, and she's here to give us all the juicy, good nuggets today on asking for more. And listen, negotiation, you need these skills, entrepreneur, employee, boss, whatever, everywhere you need these skills. So keep it locked right here. So this is what I want you to do. Jump on Facebook, jump on social media. Tell them, hey, this is what I'm listening to. You need to come over and check us out, and you need to come over and check us out right now. And I know you're following me, Facebook.com/Charvette. Twitter.com/Charvette, and Instagram is Charvette M. Thanks again for those that are hanging out on the phone lines. We see you, and Charvette.com. All right, so coming up to the mic right now, Tonya Sloans. Welcome to the show, Tonya.
Thank you so much for having me, Charvette.
Oh, we are tickled pink to have you. Listen, anytime we can talk about how to get some more money, how to ask for some more money, cha-ching, cha-ching.
Oh, yes. It's one of my favorite topics.
Yeah, we can't run away from the money. We gotta talk about the money. And so I'd love for you to share how you really have two great perspectives from the employee side, but also from the entrepreneur side. And so as an attorney, and you were in private practice for a while, can you tell us a little bit about those years and things you kind of gleaned from that?
Oh, absolutely. I have to say that even from my teenage and college years, I just naturally gravitated toward business and corporate life. And that foundation really sort of carried me through my professional career. So I started out in college writing business plans for entrepreneurs while studying business administration to be this corporate professional that I had dreamed of. So I really was focused on entrepreneurship as an individual and looking at how I could work inside of someone else's organization and move up the ladder. So those things really drove my individual career pursuits. Initially going to law school, coming out of law school, working as a tax lawyer, and wouldn't you know, only 3 short years after entering the workforce did I decide that this entrepreneurial itch had to be scratched. And so
yeah.
It was then, back in around 2004, that while I was working my full-time job as a tax lawyer, I started my own law practice. And the rest really is history. I have had periods where I've strictly been an entrepreneur. I've had periods when I've strictly been an employee of someone else's. But now, as in other periods in my career, I am both an employee and I have my own business. I am loving every minute of it.
Oh, and looking fabulous doing it as well. Looking fabulous doing it as well.
Thank you.
Shout out to those. Shout out to Sassy Jones Secret Society members, which we are both elite members of, that may be listening in for that. So, I love this because you really bring both of these perspectives together. And so as we start thinking about people's careers, and certainly, everyone that listens to the show is not an entrepreneur. Some have that aspiration. Some are dualpreneurs. But a lot of people have a career. And so how did the career maximization strategist come about?
It really felt very natural from various roles that I've played throughout my career. Initially, it just being the result of my business studies in college, just talking to my classmates about how they can both perform better on their jobs and even having like a side hustle, on the college campus. And then from there, I found myself in professional organizations beginning to encourage women, specifically with regard to faith, to go for that dream that's deep down in them. From there, moved on to answering the call to be a minister. Again, encouraging people with regard to faith that you can be everything God intended for you to be. You can do everything that God purposed in your heart. You can live out that dream. All the while, I also was an adjunct professor. College students and graduate students in particular, I was teaching them during our classes, but then they would always pull me to the side to ask me for career advice. That's one of the standard tasks that a college professor has. And so all of these pieces were acting together. Row after row, I just kept counseling and encouraging people with regard to their career, and finally decided to really get serious, get some specific training to help me be this career coach that I really had been, without even really realizing it all those years. And here I am today, focusing my business efforts there.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And you actually are on Facebook Live just about every day. So what types of things are you talking about on Facebook Live?
Well, Charvette, I have to be honest, something has come over me this year where I am just sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of encountering women who don't have the resources, and I have decided that I have to do more to help more women. So out of that, I developed this Power and Pearls career series that really has three facets to encourage women. The first you mentioned, which is the Facebook Lives. Everyone needs a little bit of motivation when they're getting up every morning, Monday through Friday. We don't always feel as energetic as you and I are this evening talking to one another.
Right.
But I feel like I have an extra dose, so I have to share that in the morning. And then secondly, I'm expanding the series to do webinars, individual trainings to give women knowledge for free to help them maximize their potential. The first webinar is this Thursday. And then the final piece is me launching the Power and Pearls Pearl Accessory Boutique for career women, just so that women can have a little piece of jewelry, an accessory, a bracelet, anything that reminds them throughout the day that they have the power to be everything they believe that they can be. Threefold series.
Oh, my goodness. Big things popping for Tonya Sloans for 2019.
Yes.
2020 is not gonna know what hit it because you breaking the brakes off in 2019. If you just tuned in, hey, you're checking out the Charvette Mitchell Radio Show. Welcome for all those that are coming in on Facebook Live. Those that are listening from my Facebook group. Hey, girl, hey, how y'all doing? You are listening and checking it out. Tonya Sloans. I've tagged her on Facebook. Tonya, on Twitter and Instagram, how can they follow you?
They can follow me at Tonya Sloans on all social media platforms, and as well they can follow me on Facebook at Power Woman Enterprise.
Oh, right, there you go. And so I know that you are really driven by the need to overcome underemployment. Can you define what underemployment is and kind of what the problem is that we're dealing with in today's society around underemployment?
Sure. Shaka, underemployment really in its simplest terms is just having a level of employment that doesn't fulfill the heights of your potential or your capacity, whether it be there being a lack in the area of opportunity to express your skills and abilities, or a lack of the income that you are qualified to earn. Either one of those factors really amount to someone being underemployed.
And is there a gap, and this is a rhetorical question, but is there a gap for between women and men in this space?
I think there is a gap. I don't want to make it seem as if the brothers have everything going on. Some of the brothers experience underemployment, but more commonly it's women. And it's women specifically because we're not asking for all of the opportunities that we're capable of actually attaining. And a lot of times we just don't have the confidence to go for it. That's not necessarily the case with men. Oftentimes, I hate to say it, a man may not have the qualifications, but he has the ego and the confidence to ask anyway. So some of us women are just a little bit behind the curve and suffering from underemployment and pay inequality that men just across the board aren't dealing with.
Which is a perfect thing that you're dealing with in Thursday's webinar. The title is Ask for More webinar. Ask for More, How to Negotiate Your Salary at Work. And again, this is a part of the Power and Pearls Career Series, sponsored and hosted by and taught by Tonya Sloans, Esquire. You can find out the information on Facebook. I've tagged her. It's on her page, a very easy connection point. And those also that are on Twitter and other places that are checking us out, you can find the information from all of the connection points we have there. All right, so I'm glad that you are helping in this space and that you brought up the point about confidence. And I have definitely seen the statistic. It was something like men, they only need to be like 30% confident before they apply for a new job or go for for a promotion. And women feel we have to feel 75 to 85% confident before we go after it. So confidence does matter. Whoa!
Yes.
How can you raise confidence? What's like one small tip in general, just to boost people's confidence?
Well, I think part of it is emotional. I think oftentimes as women, we depend a little too heavily on how we feel. You can know that you can be in certain instances, let's say with your best friend, and your best friend hasn't called you, in a couple of days. You might feel like, oh, my God, is my best friend mad at me? But in reality, it may not be that your best friend is mad at you. It may just be that your best friend is busy and has some things to do. So even though you are feeling that your best friend is mad, it doesn't mean the best friend actually is. And it's the same way when it comes to confidence. Sometimes as women, we depend too heavily on how we feel. We may not feel qualified. We may not feel like we can do it, but the reality could be very different. It could be that we actually, right where we are, do have everything we need in order to apply for the new job, in order to apply for the promotion. But when we focus on the emotional aspect, it leaves us stuck and afraid to ask. So just by recognizing the fact that your emotions don't always tell you the facts, that can instantaneously raise confidence. You just have to get the courage to do it, to ask, to pursue anyway.
All right, pursue anyway. I am loving this. Listen, we're going to take a very quick commercial break, and then when we come back, Tonya, I'd love for you to just a sneak peek, just one or two or three negotiation tips So let's talk about negotiation tips for those that are going into an interview and it's a brand new job, and then maybe another spin on that are people that are within a current company. Actually, I want three spins in a current company, and they're trying to move up, and that could be laterally or going up the ladder. And then I also want to hit maybe some negotiation tips for entrepreneurship, because really, as an entrepreneur, you don't hang that negotiation skill up on the shelf. Like, you still need it. So we're going to tackle all that when we come back from this quick commercial break. And again, welcome to all those that are tuning in. This is Charvette Mitchell. You're checking out the Charvette Mitchell Radio Show, and we're here in our interview with Tonya Sloans. We'll be right back.
It's the Charvette Mitchell Radio Show. Charvette will be back after this.
Join us for the 17th Annual James River Writers Conference, happening at the Greater Richmond Convention Center, Saturday, October 12th and Sunday, October 13th, with master classes starting Friday the 11th. This conference is an annual gathering in Richmond, Virginia, that attracts prize-winning authors and highly regarded editors and literary agents from around the country to share their wisdom about writing and publishing. Register today at jamesriverwriters.org, and we will see you October 12th and October 13th at the Greater Richmond Convention Center. Find out more at jamesriverwriters.org.
Knowing your breasts can save your life. Go to knowyourgirls.org for the facts you need on breast health. Brought to you by Susan G. Coleman and the Ad Council.
Are you starting a new business, releasing a CD, writing a new book? Consider Mitchell Productions for your web design services. Visit www.mitchell-productions.com for portfolio samples, specials, and package prices. Remember, a website is not a luxury item. It's a necessity. Check out mitchell-productions.com or find them at facebook.com/Mitchell Productions.
She's here to motivate, excite, and influence you. She's Charvette Mitchell. It's the Charvette Mitchell Radio Show with in-depth interviews from today's leading authors, gospel artists, stars that you want to know about. And now, Charvette Mitchell.
All right. Welcome back to the Charvette Mitchell Radio Show. We're chatting it up here with Tonya Sloans, Esquire, a career maximization strategist, advocate for women in the marketplace. She's teaching women all over how to be power performers, both as employees and entrepreneurs. And so I'm bringing Tonya back up to the mic because I just want to get just a couple of nuggets around negotiation. And so, Tonya, let's first talk about the person who is pursuing a new career, new job with a new company. They're in the interviewing process. What's a one or two negotiation tips you could share?
Sure, no problem. I think one of the most important things for beginners to understand is that just because you make a counter offer, it doesn't withdraw the original offer. And what I mean by that is when a company offers you a job, they say, hey, we want you to come in and we're going to pay you $80,000. And you as a newbie feel like, oh, my God, I really want to get in the company. I don't want to rub them the wrong way by asking for more money or making a counteroffer. So you just accept the $80,000. But the way things really work in human resource departments is even if you counteroffer and say, actually, I'm looking for $85,000, worst case scenario, if they say no to the $85,000, the $80,000 offer is still on the table. It's not withdrawn just because you asked for a different amount. And I think if beginners understood that foundational principle in negotiating an offer of employment, it would give beginners more courage to negotiate in the first place. The worst thing that can happen is that they say no, and then you're just stuck with the $80,000 offer that you wanted in the first place. So that's a really big tip. I feel like in coaching, I'm amazed at how many women don't understand that foundational principle.
You know what? It's a conditioning of society. It's really all of our, of our conditioning that we shouldn't ask for more, or how dare you ask for more, and all of those things. So I love that, taking that fear. See, that's what that is. Taking the fear out is, okay, the $80,000 is still going to be on the table. They're not going to take that away. If they wanted to hire you, it's still going to be there. They still want you.
Yes, and then another tip that I would share, whether you're a beginner or you're someone who has been in your industry for a while, I would say always make a counteroffer. Always make a counteroffer. The reason being is because when organizations set up their budget for salaries and they bring in a candidate that they want to hire, they never offer the maximum amount that they can pay that individual. It's one of their foundational rules in employment offers. You never offer the maximum amount that you're able to pay. Sometimes employers will present the offer as if this is what the position pays, as if it is a figure that's set in stone. But in reality, what they really mean is that this is the amount that it's comfortable for us to pay you. 9 times out of 10, the organization has a little bit of money at least left in their budget for flexibility, because if they really want you, they're going to want to give you the additional money if that's what you are asking for. So just know that you have nothing to lose when it comes to making a counteroffer. The worst thing that can happen is that they say no. But 9 times out of 10, there is more money available. Even if it's only $1,000, $5,000, it can mean a big difference over your lifetime earnings. So you want to go for the counteroffer.
All right. Hashtag ask for more. That is why Tonya's having a webinar that you've got to get in on. Hashtag ask for more. And so does the same apply, kind of the same guidelines apply if someone is in a company and they're looking to move up laterally, up the ladder, all of that? Do you have any different guidance, or is it about the same guidance?
I think it's about the same, but the difference is going to be that people think that, hey, whatever level I came into the organization at is the level I have to stay at, and that I have to move up the ladder at this predetermined pace. And that's not actually the case. I mean, more and more organizations are realizing that they have really broad pay disparities between men and women, for example. And some companies want to fix that. But why should they if the individual has been with the company for a while and they're not complaining about their salary, if they're not asking for more? Why would they automatically give them more, even if the person sitting right next to them is doing the same job and earning substantially more? It's about asking. So even if you've been with the organization for a while, don't be afraid to ask if you know that you are not being paid either what you're worth or you're not being paid on par with your colleagues. You want to make sure that you speak up and ask. Traditionally, individuals who've been with the company will have performance reviews periodically, sometimes every 6 months, sometimes every year. The performance review is an ideal time to address your salary concern. I wouldn't wait to the day of my performance review to ask, but maybe 3 months before your performance review, you ask to meet with your manager and say, I'd like to talk to you about my salary and a raise that I believe I've already earned. That gives your manager and the organization time to work on meeting your salary needs in time for the performance review. And then, Charvette, remember this. The performance review is not just an opportunity for the company to evaluate your performance, but oftentimes companies ask you to do a self-assessment, and they may even ask you to assess your supervisor and those sorts of things. So it's an opportunity for the employee to engage the conversation and to present his or her perspective of what is happening in the employment relationship. That is the perfect time for someone who's already in an organization to ask for a raise.
Oh, this is good, y'all. This is so good. Listen, shout out to Kelly Elmore, who's listening in from Tokyo. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you for listening in. Oh, my goodness, this is so good, Tonya. And hello to all those that are in all of our streaming, Facebook Live, Facebook groups, all that good stuff. You are hearing from the Career Maximization Strategist. Now, I know some people, and we're going to get to the entrepreneurs in our last little bit of time here, but I know that there are some people that are going to sign up for the webinar and all of that, but do you also consult and coach one-on-one?
I do. I do offer opportunities to coach with me one-on-one. I'm actually working with a couple of clients now. And individuals can just inbox me, reach out to me on my social media platforms, go to my website, IamPowerWoman.com, and they'll have to do an initial screening just to see if we are a good fit for one another. But
Absolutely.
those are very valuable parts of my business where I work with women one-on-one to help them craft a plan to reach their ultimate career goal.
Oh, this is good. This is good. And so we're not going to leave out entrepreneurs. And so that negotiation piece, how does that play into, and any tips you might have around negotiation in the entrepreneur space?
Oh, sure. You know, surprisingly, the principles are pretty much the same. Even as an entrepreneur, whether or not you're engaging with someone to retain their services, or if you are looking to provide your service to someone else in the marketplace, number one, don't be afraid to counteroffer. If someone says, yes, I will provide this service for you at X rate, and that's not an ideal rate for you, don't be afraid to counteroffer. But then another tip that entrepreneurs need to be aware of, that's the same for employees as well, is you need to do your research. Research the cost of the service or product that is the subject of your negotiation. You need to research it so that you know what the standard is in the industry. If I am someone who is offering career coaching services in Washington, D.C., and the average career coach charges $100, but I'm only charging $5, then I'm leaving money on the table, and I'm not going to negotiate effectively for my value in the marketplace. But if I've done the research and I know that $100 for coaching is the standard in the practice, then I know that not only can I raise my price to $100, but I can make sure that I'm giving suitable services that the industry requires to meet that $100 price point. It's the same.
Yes, I love
Entrepreneur,
it. It's the same.
Yes. Entrepreneur or employee, do your research, counteroffer, know what your value is.
All right, and I just want to put a disclaimer, listeners, that $100 was just an example. That is, we're not saying that career coaches, that's the rate. That was just an example, just to spell that out for you guys. But I am a proponent of consumers doing their due diligence, checking things out. I actually even said this in a Facebook story the other day. I am a proponent. Do your due diligence. Employee, entrepreneur, do your due diligence. So my last and final question for you, as we begin to wrap up, and again, thanks for all those that are listening in on all of our streaming platforms. We here at the Charvette Mitchell Radio Show have a goal to motivate, excite, and influence, and we want to know what continues to motivate you.
Charvette, it is completely and 100% my relationship with God. That is the source of my energy, of my strength, of my refreshing every day, but it's also my relationship with God that directs me in my business. Back in 2012, God gave me this vision for Power Woman Enterprise. It would be an organization that helped create and mold corporate women who were not just successful, but Christians who were shining lights in the marketplace wherever they went. And it's really been that light that has influenced my career path, and that is the real source of my Power and Pearls career series. And because God is the ultimate source, how could we possibly run out of energy, Charvette? How could we possibly?
Yes. It's not possible.
Yes. So that's how I can get up and get on Facebook Live every morning. God is my energy.
Oh my goodness, and looking smashing as well, because the pearls and the power and all of that is just tied in together. One more time, let listeners know how all of the connection points, how they can connect with you online and all of that good stuff.
Yes, you can find me on all social media platforms at Tonya Sloans, TonyaSloans. You can also check me out on my website, IamPowerWoman.com, and you also can follow me on my Power Woman Enterprise Facebook page. You can find me all those places.
All right, there you have it. Well, it has been an honor and a pleasure to have you here, and you dropped so much good nuggets, so many good nuggets, but so that lets us know that there's so much more value that we can glean from your webinar and your services. So thank you so much for stopping by the show.
No, thank you so much, Charvette, for having me. It is such a pleasure and a complete honor to share with you.
Oh, thank you. All right, listeners, that is a wrap for today's show. As always, check back next week. We have more phenomenal and outstanding guests. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/Charvette, and check us out at charvette.com. Peace and love.
Live from Richmond, Virginia, you've been listening to the Charvette Mitchell Radio Show. Catch Charvette Mitchell every Tuesday at 6 p.m., interviewing all the stars you want to hear from. So until next week, stay motivated, excited, and influenced. This is the Charvette Mitchell Radio Show.